Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamers for Peace Valheim stream. My name is Phoenix. Are we still doing introductions, or are we gonna totally scrap that? Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my name is Phoenix. Who am I? Who's joining me tonight? Oh, wait. Hang on. The audio's not working. Your audio's not working. All right, try again. There we go. Go ahead, Sin.
Hello, my name is Sincerely V. I'm a gamer for peace.
You got such the announcer voice. I'm honestly jealous.
I'm working on it. I gotta bring that bassy note. Speak from my chest, I think is what I used to get told a lot.
Alright, who else have we got here tonight?
I'm here. What's up? I'm Mash. Ready to Viking it up for peace.
Hi, I'm Krabby. I'm here to have some fun and kill some Grey Dwarfs.
Hopefully something more daring tonight. I'm in the fuck it's mood. Let's just go.
There's a lot of body recovery in our near
Right.
future. I foresee it.
Yeah.
Alright, and who else have we got with us? We got a guest who hasn't been on stream for a little while.
I am Owen, and AKA Pace. So here we go.
Given the southern perspective on... Actually, there was this really cool song on TikTok. It was a country singer. He came up with a song he titled Red State Blue Neck. That's what he called it. Because he was like a liberal country guy.
I have to check that out.
Yeah,
I resent that on the face of it because of the origin of the phrase redneck.
right?
I get what he's saying, but like, man, I really want us to take that back.
Well, for real, right? Because
Like
rednecks-
unionized labor and
Mm-hmm.
coal miners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coal miners were like that whole thing was really liberal back in the day, right? Like unions? Are you kidding me? Right? Like it's just
Yep.
funny how that just totally flips.
Actually, kind of an odd story that maybe not. I mean, I'm assuming nobody in here knows. I did stand up with the liberal redneck. I don't know if you guys have
Oh,
heard of
yeah.
him.
I've heard that name before.
What's his real name? I can't.
Trey Crowder.
Yeah. Yep. He's awesome. He's hilarious.
I think I've heard
Yeah.
the name. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I actually did stand up with him back when he was like getting his feet wet, and he pushed on and I didn't. So whatever. I'm glad he's making it.
Yeah.
Yeah, our lives all take different paths. That's really cool that you got to have that experience.
Right. Is he really a nice guy, or is he kind of a dick? Because I feel like people are
No.
disillusioned by their heroes all the time.
No, he's a super sweet dude. Like, as sweet as they come, I guess would be the best way to say it.
That's awesome. Because that's why I never want to meet any celebrities. Because if I like them, I don't want to end up hating them.
I hate to ask, but what is the server name again? I got the password, but I don't have the fucking server.
It's pinned in the Discord. I don't want to give it away on stream.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually,
I'll find it.
Let me.
Just throw it at me on Facebook.
Yeah. Let me do that real quick. So I'm gonna be today's cynic, I think.
You want to kick us off with a cynical take?
Yes, the world is screwed up, and the National Guard's really just going to end up making things worse. But we all think it might help, but it's not really going to make things better, and it's just going to all go to crap.
So that mood you're in, is that why we're having a conversation about the National Guard tonight?
Maybe that's why I'm in the mood I'm in,
Ooh.
because of that.
So you
conversation.
were in the National Guard,
I
correct?
I was in. The
As
Guard
was
all-
I.
Oh, see, and Sin
Was a
I was a
reservist.
Yeah.
That means he got
At
the
one
short
time.
crayons. Like the baby ones.
Oh my God! Wow.
Sorry, I am
That's
so cynical
amazing.
today.
Single.
Love that joke.
That's what they're for.
I love that joke so much.
Actually, I saw a TikTok today where it was one of those TikToks making fun of each branch, a little bit. But in the helmets, in the helmet strap of the Marine, was a bunch of crayons that went around. It was great.
That's fantastic.
If somebody does not make that a Sincerely V logo, there's something's wrong with the world. I need a
Oh, that's
graphic
fantastic.
designer to whip that up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think.
go ahead.
So I guess all I was trying to say is like we've got some experience like with what guardsmen look like, and I would like to say right here, unequivocally, the National Guard troops have fucking no business being put into a law enforcement role on like U.S. streets, right? Like they spend enough time trying to keep up on accident avoidance and EO and Sharp that they're hardly getting time to train for their real fucking jobs. Right? Like the amount of time that I, as an NCO in the National Guard, like spent just trying to navigate 6-month train-up classes so that I could actually train troops on what they're supposed to know.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like so there's a place we can jump off from. It's like, what the hell is today's National Guard doing in major streets with live ammo?
I will say that they do have better trigger discipline than cops.
Well, but they
You know
killed a
what?
guy last year.
Oh yeah, they did.
During 2020, they're in the parking garage. Like a firework went off, and a National Guard like squad like
Well,
fired and killed somebody, right?
That is what 900 less than the police did. So
Yeah, exactly.
So bad.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's another good point: is that law enforcement training is
Poo poo.
bad.
yeah,
Poo-poo.
It's a
And-
fucking joke.
and so like that's the point though. Is like now we're putting soldiers, right? They're soldiers. They are trained for a combat zone into an environment where we're giving them live ammunition against American citizens. Just that alone, if the police aren't doing it right, makes you think combat-ready soldiers are going to be better at it?
Combat ready 18-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my next point.
18-year-olds. Right.
And 17-year-olds for that matter. If
Yeah.
they're
And
coming out of
17.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
we all enlisted at 17.
Yep. I enlisted at 17.
The trigger discipline of the National Guard is going to wear thin very quickly. I think, if they are put in that situation, their presence is nothing but an escalation. And
Yeah.
Right.
I'm here for this discussion about the general purpose of the National Guard, right? What are they supposed to do, right? Why are they being used like this, and what's the ramifications for it, right? Actually, why are they being used like this, and how are they being used? Like, in what way are they being used wrong currently? Because there's tons of articles out right now about how states are already activating National Guard in preparation for real world events, the Derek Chauvin
Fucking
trial.
something.
Yeah,
Right.
so, and then I think there's room to have a conversation about our experience in fitting into that, about what it was like as a reservist or a National Guard member at 17, 18. Because I think a lot of people go in there thinking it's not the same economic draft, it's not the same experience for an economic draftee that active duty is, and it's a story that doesn't get told very plainly, I don't think. So this will be a really interesting conversation that we're gonna guide through.
Yeah. So maybe
Also-
that's where we should start, though. Is why did? Because several of us are guard and reserves. Why did we join? Like the reserves or guards specifically. What was it about the reserves and guards that attracted us to it?
So I originally enlisted as active duty, and then I got a call from my recruiter looking to see if I had a buddy to recruit into this TSSCI clearance, ultra rare, high speed, low drag job. And I was like, yeah, I care more about the security clearance than anything else. And I was like, I'll do it. And it left sooner for boot camp than my original date. So, I was working a shitty part-time job, and things were going good at home. Economically, I wasn't doing too well. Family life wasn't great, and I left. I took that position, and it turned out to be a reserve job.
Oh, that's the thing about the reserves and guard, right? It's supposed to be part-time work, using that quotations, right? So what'd you do kind of alongside the guard? Or alongside the reserves?
So 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year is what they tell you.
Right.
Out of
A lie.
A lie. Out of my 6 weeks, or out of my 6 years, excuse me. Yeah, I wish my time in service was 6 weeks. Out of my 6 years, I probably spent closer to 3.5, almost 4 on either various orders or deployed, or in training period, like extended. Right. The military only recognizes less than 3 years of that for veteran benefit purposes. So like there's tons of stuff involving
Oh yeah.
your care.
Yeah, that was active duty for training purposes only, so it doesn't count.
There's all sorts of stipulations and things that we have to deal with there. But so out of my 6 years, 3.5 years were on active duty, deployed, like actively deployed in combat zones or in high-end training op for those deployments.
Yep.
And that was my experience as a reservist. We didn't care about it's reserves and Marine Corps are different than National Guard, obviously. So
Right.
I'd love to hear from Mash and you, Phoenix, about what the difference is, right?
Yeah.
With
Before I get into my story, I want to make sure Pace gets over to us. Are you at the main camp, Pace?
I am. And I just to chime in really quick as an outsider looking in because I never got the chance to serve. I feel like a lot of it is them taking advantage of people who are exactly like he was just describing as, disenfranchised and, this is your way out of this particular lifestyle.
And follow me to this other base. But yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. When I joined, I saw it as an escape, right? Like, I wasn't necessarily happy at home, but I did enjoy civilian life. I had a girlfriend at the time that we were really serious, and I didn't want to necessarily join full force into the military, but I was brainwashed into I should serve my country and we're doing good and all those other things. And so joined and wasn't necessarily pleased about it because as soon as I went to boot camp my junior summer, and then came back for my senior year of high school, and then after my senior year of high school I went to AIT in Arizona for 6 months, and then right after that I went to Afghanistan. We deployed. I got back in December, and we deployed January. We went to Fort Bragg for 3 months, and then went to Afghanistan for 9 months. And then as soon as I got out, we had a 1.5 year break, and then the unit started gearing up to go to Kuwait. And luckily, because I spent a year in high school still, so I wasn't deployable or anything like that, I was about ready to get out. So I was like, I'm not going to Kuwait. No, thank you. So I ETS'd. And that's kind of my story in a nutshell. And I was MI when I was in, so I was an intel analyst the jack of all trades, but a master of none when it comes to comes to intel. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
My story's a lot more fuddy, or like I was a little more. I drank a little more of the Kool-Aid.
Real quick,
I
Pace, if you want to come into this is the crafting building right here. If you want to come into this building and make yourself some bronze armor, there's plenty of stuff.
Okay. I'll fuck around with it and find out. I'm just here to talk right now more than anything.
Well, I made another wormhole or another portal to a
Rainbow
swamp
Rainbow
area.
Bridge.
We made another rainbow bridge to a swamp area that is like right next to the big swamp that we found. So we can go in and kind of do some exploring and bring some stuff back and kill some draugrs and all that jazz. So
I'm here for the violence.
Yep.
yeah,
In game only, right?
yes,
Game
in
only.
game only. But I'm sorry, Mash, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I mean,
Stargate.
like I said, I'm not exactly proud
Right.
to talk about it. I got into the guard on accident, I guess. I had the highest ASVAB score in my county, and I wanted to join active duty army. And the active duty army recruiter at my high school, this is a whole nother can of worms to get into, but he got in trouble. So I guess let me back up. He basically, I went to him with my super high ASVAB scores and everything, and told him that I wanted to go. I wanted to get the special forces selection, whatever way, like I could.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused to talk to me about it, like 18 X-ray platform or anything like that. He told me to go infantry, despite being like a really smart kid. He was like, just go infantry. You'll be a trigger puller, and then as soon as you get out of training, you can sign up for SF selection. It'll be like at your first duty station. Like all you have to do is just go fill out the paperwork. Just go be infantry. And
Right.
I
He was
wasn't
just trying to get his
buying
numbers.
that. Yeah, he was just trying to get his numbers, and it turns out later he was thrown out of the high school that he was recruiting at, my high school, because he was using his position as a recruiter there to like hit on underage girls.
Oh my god.
And he didn't get arrested or anything. He just got barred from the high school and then like transferred somewhere else by the army.
All right.
But anyway, I ended up in the National Guard because they put me in a smart guy job with the language and all kinds of cool guy stuff, and an opportunity to be all super special spiffy because I thought I was hot shit.
Mhm.
So I liked the idea of like serving my community and stuff, and that was definitely a benefit in my mind to guard service, was like giving back to my community. But
Yeah. Why don't we all take a nap real quick? I just hate doing stuff at night. I'm scared of the dark.
makes sense.
Well, it's preferable so we don't have to deal with too
Right.
many enemies at night.
Yeah. What's up, War Puppy? He's in the chat. And so
I have
is
no
Stargate.
Not
idea where
playing
my
with us.
bed is.
Oh, is there an extra one
Well,
here?
we gotta build a one. If
I
there
just,
isn't,
I
Okay.
just threw one down.
There we go.
Oh, it needs a
that-
fire nearby.
yeah, you need to put it a little bit closer to the fire.
Yeah. Just
I got
So-
you. Boop.
Pistons on too.
My girlfriend's ex was in the guard as well, and I mean I don't know for 1,000% fact, but I think he also kind of signed up as just a way to get out, like of where he was, because he grew up in rural Arkansas and
Yep.
was like, okay, get me out of here. Like I think he was 88M or something like that.
88, Mike. Did you say?
Yeah, basically just
So, truck
transpo.
driver?
Truck driver.
Yeah.
The second highest combat job in the army behind infantry.
Really? I didn't know that.
I know that because I had a buddy who joined specifically because of that.
Well, I mean, actually, 88 Mike, you know, as much as I don't think we should have as big a military as we do, like, I don't know, sometimes I'm so torn, right? Like,
Bullets don't fly without supply, man.
Right.
You know what you're
And-
saying?
and it
Like, they're still
actually-
important.
They're still important, and they provide like that's a great license to have civilian wise. Like they give you your CDL, so like
Mm-hmm.
you know having that in the civilian, I knew lots of people that had joined and gone 88 Mike just to get the CDL. Really, like that was their main purpose. Like, yeah, I wanna have my
That
CDL
ties in-
to get a good job.
That ties into the economic draft, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, let's think about it. Right? Like, there's no other, like, the easiest way to get that training and, like, to
Right.
have a job when you get out is to go serve your country, right?
Right.
Quote unquote.
Yep.
Sell your body
Yeah.
and your, like, soul to the military. And if you survive and don't have PTSD bad enough in 4 years or in 6 years,
Yeah.
you can go get a real job.
Right. Right. I mean, it's I mean, we're all prostitutes, right? We're all selling our body and labor in some way.
Yeah, what's the? I saw it on Twitter somewhere or something like that. Somebody's like, if you think that prostitutes sell their bodies but coal miners don't, your view is skewed by your morals are skewed by your opinion on sex.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. But okay, so little poll here for those of you that were in, right, and might be aware. How much training did you get in, let's say, I don't know, crowd control?
So as a reservist in my job, I got a very, very, very small amount. My job as a civil affairs operator was more about like smoothing over what was happening between crowd control or things like that. We never did crowd control because I was always in a active war zone and there wasn't crowds there aren't it's not the same. I guess what I'm trying to say, it's just not the same. We're in a war zone. The behavior, the posture is completely different. So the training that we did receive would not translate to, say, an unarmed civilian protest or unarmed civilian gathering. That
Well,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially because in a war zone, you have no ideas. Like you have expectations, but you have no ideas as to what is going to happen in the next 12 seconds.
Well, and then
Like-
many cops
you
would argue like that's the same thing, but it's not. Like these are American citizens that are your neighbors, right? That you literally live next to every single day, or should really, right?
I think it's important to talk a little bit about the way the military does handle crowds overseas, though, because I read something just the other day that talked about how I think it was in Minnesota. They dispersed the crowd and then they had all of the journalists lay out on the ground, like face down, anybody who claimed to be a journalist, and they took
What?
pictures of their faces and their credentials before allowing them to leave. And my first thought, and I don't know who else had any training on this or dealt with anything like this, but it sounded a lot like, to me, like somebody had deployed, cordoned off an area, and then loaded people into bats and hides.
Mm-hmm.
that's my exact thought. I started screaming about when I watched the video of that. I was like, they are bat and hiding systeming everybody.
So for our audience that
Exactly.
might not be in, what is a bat or hide system that you should be very cognizant of if you ever go to a protest?
Sin?
I was gonna let you do the explain. You probably have a little bit more background on it than I do.
Basically, think a large database of biometrics.
Mm-hmm.
It's really useful for tracking people's movements, finding out who was in an area when.
Mm-hmm.
It came about, as I understand it, as a way to try and keep track of the people of Afghanistan who, like everybody's name is like their name plus their father's name plus their grandfather's name plus their great grandfather's name. Like different cultures that don't exactly, and they're not carrying around a social security card and a driver's license.
Right.
but we still needed a, like quote unquote, we needed a way to know if somebody got rolled up in a cordon multiple times or things like that.
Right.
Basically, it's a big government biometric tracking tool. They want your pupils, they want your DNA if they can get it, fingerprints, height, weight, name, etc. And everything. And it's totally a violation of your rights in the United States. But that's one of the things that's happening with law enforcement having more and more military involvement and more veteran presence in their own ranks, is that you've got people that are taking tools that they learned in Iraq and Afghanistan,
Right.
and they're applying them here at home, and they're forcing all of us to make the argument that it's against our rights, because that's already happened now. That happened to those journalists, right? Whether it was, now it balls in their court to have to try and fight the courts to say, hey, this was a violation of our, Fourth Amendment rights.
Right. Yep. And when I deployed, my section, S2 section, worked closely with our civil affairs unit. And anytime our civil affairs went and did like a medical drop or an aid drop, we'd bring our BATS system along and lie to the people and say, hey, we're just checking your eyes.
Oh, you actually lied to them?
Oh, yeah, we flat out lied to them. Yep.
And as a humantor, we were told we were trained to do exactly that, to piggyback off of civil affairs, to interject ourselves into situations as if we were civil affairs.
Yep, all the time.
I worked very closely with human, the human that was, or human guy that was embedded with our S2, as I was embedded with S2 of the infantry company. So like, and yeah, he would piggyback off me. And we didn't lie to people about bats, but we told them we weren't going to do anything. We would force them. Like, we would cordon people off, march them through our fobs, and bats them. And things like that.
Yeah, we just...
You didn't have a choice if you were in our... Yeah, if you were in our AAO, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
You got bats.
Yeah. Marcy asked in the chat, Mars asked in the chat, did that happen to journalists, too? And so...
Would something like that happen
Yeah.
to journalists?
So... we had some strict rules about, so when I was in Afghanistan, this is actually unique, there was an American citizen there who was just living as, with the locals, and they used to be a journalist, and our intel unit actually took that pretty seriously, that they were an American citizen.
Yeah, that's kind of a
And-
big deal and a big potential issue.
Right, because the American military, not the DoD as a whole, just the military, can't keep information on American citizens for an extended period of time. So we collected some information, but then had to discard it. I think it's like 90 days, something like that.
Or else you're going to big boy jail and making
Right.
big rocks into smaller rocks.
Right. So if they're American citizens, then no, we have to make sure all that stuff is deleted. But if I was maybe CIA, then yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I was
if
gonna
that
say,
guy,
I don't think
that guy-
CIA gives a shit.
I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah. Basically, those guys do whatever the fuck they want to whoever they fuck they want,
Right.
whenever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
The guidance I was told was anytime anything like that comes around is to just take it as a compliment that you did such good work starting off,
Right.
and just be thankful that you're now no longer involved.
All right. Let's go to the swamp. I want to kill stuff.
I'm down
Let's do
for
it.
I grabbed the key.
I need to
So
steal
the whole conversation
food.
about that citizen over Broad in Afghanistan reminded me of when we drone struck that U.S. resident. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Was that was
this
that-
circle?
Trump's first
One on the right.
strike you're talking about, where he killed like an 8-year-old girl?
No. This is back when Obama was commander in chief. He was real drone happy. In addition to that wedding, he drone struck. He a death strike, like
Oh.
targeted a U.S. resident overseas. because he's supposed to have protections, but you know he's potentially tied to terrorists. So like, is it okay that we just like kill him without a trial?
Yep.
It's a whole big thing. Remember when those were our problems?
All right, for Pace and
Easy days.
Krabby, in order to get here, go to the portal hut and take the one on the right.
I need food before I go.
So,
Just north, south, east, or west, and I'll figure it out.
food is in the north, through the north portal at the first camp. And then
Oh, so through the portal?
Oh, Sin.
Yeah.
We can't portal this copper. We're gonna have to.
You can now.
What? You can portal copper?
You can portal ore now, I think, but to punish you, they made it take longer.
Really?
I thought,
I'm gonna try it.
yeah, somebody try it because I thought they had been pretty adamant previously that they were never gonna let ore through the teleporters, and that totally breaks the game. And if you want that, use a mod.
Yeah,
Great.
I for
Yeah.
sure read something like it may not be implemented yet, but they said
I got
like we're gonna do it.
Yeah, public outcry just got too much, I guess.
Is it the one on the right?
Yep, it won't let me.
Okay, so I read something where they said like we're gonna do it, but I guess they haven't done it yet.
But in this little hut, I put a bunch of boxes so we could like mine some ore and then like put it in the boxes and then kind of make some trips out if we needed to.
Makes
This
sense.
particular spot isn't too far from the coast, and if we go back to the coast, about right here, there's a boat. So,
Oh, that'd be too easy.
but I thought this was a good spot because we can easily venture into the swamp. We're in a
Yeah,
good
it's like right
location,
there.
far enough away from the plains. So, I wanted
You
to
can-
make sure we're safe.
You can also cheese ore. I think I told you guys this last time. Like, you don't have to sail it back if you don't want to.
Like just build a forge here and
No, you just log into
oh yeah.
a private server and then spit it out on the ground and then log back in and then spit it back out once you're on your server.
I think we're going for a no cheating run here though, because some of us have like leveled up characters elsewhere.
Right,
Like
yeah.
before I was gonna cheat. Before I would cheese ore, I would just pull in my end game
Right.
character, bring in my tune.
Yeah. So, Darth in the chat mentioned that the fact we have to ask which drone strike killed that U.S. citizen is bad in itself.
Yeah.
And I think that is so telling.
And I do want to point out that while I did at first accuse Trump in this situation, this is a bipartisan thing,
Oh,
right? It doesn't matter if it's a blue or red drone. Drones still kill civilians, and all three of the last presidents have, since drones have been around, have killed civilians.
Extensively.
Like a
Right.
lot.
I mean, like you can split hairs on on a lot of other policies of the Biden-Obama administration, but one of the things they were very open about was the fact that they wanted to use drones. They wanted to use them a lot. I think they carried out more drone strikes in that, like more than other military operations they signed off on. Like drones were their go-to, so that they wouldn't look. I read an interview with President Obama where he said it was like their answer to not looking weak
Yeah.
was
If-
to use drone strikes.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, I remember a stat from near the end of Obama's presidency that said that the Air Force had been using so many drone strikes under Obama that we literally ran out of bombs to drop for a period of time. Yeah,
Wow.
like we were dropping so many that we just couldn't do it anymore.
You know,
And then all of a sudden we produced more bombs and went right back to it.
and this is why I'm so disillusioned at you know how many people have just died in these wars. You know, we
Mhm.
as Americans outrage over the 4,000 people that died. You know, 4,000 American soldiers that have died, right? But
Oh man,
how many hundreds of thousands of people have died in Afghanistan? Afghan civilians, Iraqi civilians. right? It just, it just pisses me off so much. I'm sorry, like, it just gets
No,
so
man. So many
mad.
people died for optics.
Right. For nothing.
For fucking nothing.
I mean,
Yeah, forever.
I had to like, I had a buddy that was in the Marine Corps. He was deployed in Afghanistan for 3 or 4 tours, and he couldn't afford battery. Like they didn't give him batteries for his nods.
That's true.
Like
That's
I
crazy.
had to
Yeah.
ship him batteries so that he had batteries for his fucking nods.
That's a first-hand experience of mine. First-hand experience. My
Really?
parents giving me batteries for my nods. Yep.
Wow. That-
Along with other things, but like, yeah, when we were in Afghanistan, I did not have batteries for my nods. Like, I ran out from what I had bought at the PX on Leatherneck before we pushed out in Helmand Province.
Yeah.
And it was on us to have those batteries. That's it.
that's ridiculous.
Like, why
Hey,
are you
so-
spending the money they're giving you to buy optics? That's crazy.
So the part that pisses me off about that is that it's not like the money's not there, right?
Right.
Right, like all this money is spent on putting fucking dollars in the pockets of fucking Lockheed fucking Martin
Right.
and Boeing and fucking Northrop Grumman. All these fucking, you know what I mean? Like we're paying, you know, lifetimes worth of money to buy individual missiles that we use with we just don't give a shit. And then
Right.
troops who are supposedly care about, right? Like American lives that are, you know, for some reason more important than everyone else's lives, still don't like have no real value. Like we just don't even care about whether or not they have toilet paper or fucking, you know, batteries for their nods or fucking anything.
Yeah, I sent him baby wipes too, like just because they're so easy to like clean yourself up with, and there was no way to clean yourself up.
Oh yeah, baby wipes. It's the only way you could
They
do
were
it in the
cold.
field.
Baby
Unless,
wipes.
did anybody here ever see Hua wipes?
What?
Were those
Were
the
wipes?
Brovet version of baby wipes? Like they just
Yeah,
like had
they, like-
camo on them.
Camo.
Uh huh. No, but they were worse. Something was in them that was fucked up. Everybody
Oh,
I know
really?
who ever used them like had allergic reactions to them,
Oh, what
That's
the
so
fuck?
awful.
and they pushed them at the PX and stuff, and wouldn't carry like regular baby wipes. I smelled nepotism on it.
I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
But like that's what Joe gets
Right.
with an $80,000 fucking, you know, missile.
Right. And then like when you all got out, how many of you had to pay for like damaged or missing equipment?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like
Oh my god, I remember.
it's
You had-
just go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
I just remember MASH getting out and having to pay for new items that were quote unquote missing.
Right. Because they, like, I kept, like, I was warned about that when I got in, so I kept such a close, like handle on my clothing record.
Uh huh.
So, like, if I checked it myself all the time. Like, I would not do a PMCS without my clothing record because, like, or the layout without my clothing record because, like, I just wanted to check it. So I had a copy of my clothing record that I kept, and anytime they issued me something, I kept it. I had a whole binder full of stuff because I'm like, you are not, you know, digging at me for any of this junk that you're issuing me that I'm never going to use. Cold weather gear that never got out of the plastic. Like, no, thank you.
You had brand new cold weather gear?
Yes. Brand
Lucky.
new cold weather gear.
Ooh, lucky.
Bastard, right.
I
Speaking
hate
of shit we never used. Oh, go ahead.
I hate to interrupt, but which portal am I supposed to take? I've kind of been just dicking around and not joining you guys.
If you go to the secondary camp, there is a portal on the right that you should take.
Okay, so I don't.
It's-
Where am I right now? Am I first camp or second camp?
Where
I think you're
you
at second camp.
joined was the first camp. Where you currently are, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm on the map.
You're at the first camp,
Okay, so which portal from here? Left, middle, or right?
middle.
Middle.
And then if you're facing
The
Um,
door. Take the left portal.
Yeah, if you're facing the door, take the left. Right.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry, I was.
No worries.
I kind of phased out when you guys were talking about stuff because I was actually trying to pay attention.
No, it's all good. It's actually perfect timing, perfect segue for us to loop back into the purpose of the National Guard. We got into
Right,
like our
this is-
deployment and the woes of being reserves and National Guard.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk about the purpose. What's the original purpose of the National Guard?
So what's the original purpose, or what's their purpose from like the last couple of decades? So 'cause
Right,
the
two
original
different
purpose of the National Guard was to be kind of our standing army, right? Once upon a time, Federal Army was this really small thing. If you look at the troop, I did a report on this in WLC. In World War II, I have a hard time remembering the numbers, but I think it was something like 40,000 troops that we sent
Shit.
overseas in World War II
I could
were
not take another
active
shot.
Federal Army troops, but over 200,000 were National Guard troops.
Wow.
Like National Guard used to be the majority. Oh boy, that was a 2-star for Auger.
Yeah, it was.
That was a real ouch in my face hole.
Owie!
I'll give him, but
But yeah, so the National Guard originally was supposed to be more like the Minutemen, right? Like that's the real origin. The first National Guard troop, the East Battalion, stood up in Salem, Massachusetts. I know because I went on a little history tour there once upon a time, and their whole original deal was it was the Minutemen, right? Like they were supposed to be activated at any time to deploy, and do things. They were guys with muskets who drilled together in their local area and were prepared to defend themselves against the British at any given time.
right.
It had evolved to be sort of a cross between Army Reserves. In the modern day, what it's supposed to look like is a cross between the Army Reserves and then a community like response. So if you need a large mobilized group to be able to respond to, say, a natural disaster, some sort of state-wise mission, when you join the National Guard, you take an oath not just to the country, but you take a state oath. You swear dual allegiance to the governor as well as the president and the chain of command of the Constitution.
Shoot. Who's a ghost?
Hey, it's fine. I'll
Last thing.
kick this shit out of this thing.
The dual allegiance. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, you have dual allegiance to the governor of your state, like to your state as well as to the country,
Right.
Oh,
which is
when?
why there's two different kinds of orders where you can be activated for. And state,
Do arrows not
governors
do
are
anything against this thing?
they're supposed to only be able to activate you for state emergencies, and that's supposed to look like things like, Katrina,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's the idea, right? Like the National Guard is supposed to be going in to handle state level emergencies where there's, we need people to be like handing out waters and like
Filling
directing traffic. Yeah, filling sandbags.
recovering people from rooftops when they're stranded because we have large boats and are organized for that kind of thing.
Shoot.
Exactly. So, right, like in theory, the National Guard is fantastic. In theory, they're like one big community mutual aid group. Except for that's not how it works.
Right.
So let's talk about how it's worked for the last 50 years.
I
So,
There's
Does
obviously
anybody wanna give-
segregation was kind of a.
I'm gonna die.
yeah, because anybody want to give a rundown on the Posse Comitatus Act and the military involvement in civil rights? Because that's a huge part of this conversation that I'm
I'm
talking too much.
good at that, but I'm not as versed on the history side.
So the Posse Comitatus Act is the act that is supposed to restrict the president from using military force, except for in extreme dire circumstances on U.S. soil.
Okay.
I'm super duper paraphrasing. It's very nuanced, and if this chat pinned me to a wall, I'm sorry. But that's the long and short of it. Is it's supposed to restrict the use of military force on U.S. soil. However, National Guard in an emergency do not fall under that,
Really? Even if they fall
as I
under
understand it.
on their federal orders?
If they're on federal orders, they can't. But if
Right.
they're on state orders, they can,
And there's the loophole.
as I understand it.
It's
And that's
always
why
a
you get all. That's why you're hearing about all these governors activating their National Guards, even to go to other places.
And that's why
You know,
Trump
National
never
Guard.
did. Like he threatened to half a dozen times. But
Yeah,
never
what Trump
activated.
would have had to do was, if the Guard hadn't been activated, I remember reading that he had been threatening to call in the 82nd Airborne, which would have created a huge constitutional crisis. But what the fuck was new? We spent 4 years in daily constitutional crises. What is the Constitution at this point?
Right?
Yeah.
Fair
I'm gonna
conversation to be had around that.
Sorry.
see if I
Oh,
can,
that's
Sorry.
only fucking leech. Hold on.
I'm gonna see if I can turn up the brightness.
I'm real bitter about all this stuff because I
So
like
am I.
coming from being a true like I said, like I was true believer, man. Like I drank the Kool-Aid. I was all in. And to find out that all this stuff that you thought was like all good, like all these things I'm saying were like, oh yeah, in theory it's supposed to be this great thing, and they
Right.
sell you on all this stuff, and it's all fucking a lie.
Right.
It's all just loopholes for them to exploit.
Oh shoot.
And it's really irritating.
So we have National Guard throughout history suppressing labor movements, suppressing desegregation. We have National Guard in 2020 putting down peaceful protests throughout the country in multiple cities. We have Washington, D.C., we have Philadelphia, New York, Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, LA.
Oh,
I
shoot.
forget if they were in Texas. Those are ones just straight off the top of my head from raw memory of last year.
Ooh,
We
right,
have,
that's right.
I think, I lost count. I forgot the count of how many governors have activated their National Guard for right now, have already preemptively activated their National Guard. And this came to my attention because I'm a Philadelphia guy, and there's an article came out, I think it was 2 days ago, that Governor Wolf already activated 1,000 PA National Guard for Philadelphia by itself. They aren't patrolling our streets yet, but they are on active orders and nearby, ready for current events to unfold. In Minneapolis, we see that National Guard are already boots on ground. They are also riding with EMS and fire departments or fire trucks as protection against protesters. And we're seeing what we talked about with the whole BAT system, where they were doing the journalism stuff. And so, go ahead, Mash. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to. I was gonna talk about something that got brought up in the chat. So I'll please finish what you were talking about. I'm sorry for cutting in.
Oh no. So we see a massive presence. I thought I saw someplace that Minneapolis, or the county in which Minneapolis currently is, has 3,000 National Guard members currently there in a single county, whereas in the whole of Afghanistan there's 2,500. So there are more National Guard currently boots on ground in Henlopen County, I think it is, or Hennepin.
I don't know. I live close enough. I should be able to tell you, but I genuinely have no idea.
Do we have a
Statistic.
I need arrows like real bad,
There's
guys
some on my body.
and gals.
Yeah.
What was I gonna- oh, so Marcy or Marky gets good. I don't know.
She's
Said,
probably
you
talking
know, like,
shit
asked
to
if-
me.
If the guards like responses would hurt their image in the public. And I would say absolutely, because if you look at just what happened in Minneapolis just Sunday morning, dude, they shot at a Humvee. Somebody drive-by shot at cops
Yeah.
and military, National Guard soldiers. Like Joe's taking rounds. He's gonna get a CIB in fucking Minnesota.
We
Oh,
have
that's
we
a
have
story.
barbed wire and Constantine wire around municipal buildings in New York and in Minneapolis right now.
That's razor wire for you that didn't have to low crawl around it.
Oh shoot!
Just fucking Wraith is dead now, guys. So
Good job.
That's awesome. Good job. Did you kill it?
yeah, I had corpse run up. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, most people don't even know what the National Guard is. Lil Piston brings up a good point. They just see troop. I mean, they just see the military. The military is here.
Hmm.
And you know, theoretically, that's supposed to be people from your community, right? That's the other part of the National Guard is it's supposed to be people from your community.
Well, that's one of the tricks, right? Is they're not sending people. That's why it's been so integral for them to send people from other areas into these places.
Mm-hmm.
Because it turns out it's really hard to get you to like club your actual neighbor in the face.
Right. That's why governors are lending their National Guard to other areas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so National Guard is supposed to play that community role. More often nowadays, especially because of the protests, they end up being activated as some sort of, supplemental police force.
Going all the way back to the Kent State massacre.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
And we still haven't changed anything or learned from that.
Right.
Once again, civil rights protests are going on, and we have National Guard soldiers with live ammo up against protesters. This turned out so great last time. Let's fucking do it again.
Right. And so, and that's my biggest gripe is that when I was in, I received zero training. Not a single ounce of training in crowd control, in dealing with Americans as a military personnel, like nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so I just get so fed up with the National Guard being activated for things like this. I'm like, that 18-year-old young person is not any more trained, if not less trained, than our police. How do you expect them to operate in such a manner?
Well, I posted a
Go ahead, Mesh.
I was going to say, I posted a video to the Valheim Discord chat from last June. It was a video that really struck me at the time. It was what I think was a veteran NCO who was going through and dressing down the National Guard soldiers who were like on riot
I
control.
watched that.
And he's
earlier.
like knife handing them, and he's
Right.
like, "Close the gap! Listen to your fucking staff sergeant! Look at your staff sergeant! Close the gap! What are you doing?" And he's like, and these guys are these little fucking kids, dude.
Yeah.
These little privates are terrified because this guy's speaking their language. Sounds
Right.
like a top sergeant,
Some
and
of
they're
them
all
are
like,
listening.
yeah, they're all listening to him. They're all freaked out. Like
Yeah.
these kids are just warm bodies
Yep.
being like shoved, like military industrial complex come to roost at home, throwing our 17 and 18-year-old kids just in their way, right? Like ultimately what they're doing is they're using these kids as human shields.
Hmm.
Protect my business, human shield.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is plays right off that video that you posted. It's because I think I think there is a difference between the police and the National Guard in trigger discipline and in overall discipline because of the military setting and the appeal to authoritarianism and the hierarchy that exists in the army or in the military that is only played at in the police forces. Like they pretend
Yeah, it's a fucking game.
Yeah, like the police don't have that strict adherence to squad tactics, single man issues orders, like 4-man, like the squad, the fire team, the squad, the platoon, right? And I think that discipline may carry through and save lives, save more lives than having riot cops, because riot cops don't have that fear of the chain of command that police, police don't have that
Right.
that fear of chain of command that a 19-year-old boot has.
Right.
And
He's
a
not
nine-
going to shoot a protester because fucking top sergeant didn't say to. I'm not. I haven't even been allowed to take my weapon off safe. They got to tell me to turn my rifle from safe to semi
Right.
on the qualifying range. You think I'm going to just fucking start popping rounds at people?
in the Marine Corps, we got drilled with the concept of the strategic lance corporal. And is the idea, it's kind of similar to something that Napoleon once said. It's the lowest ranking person has the largest effect on your battle space. The most common low rank is the people that affect your battle space the most. So we drilled it in our lance corporals and PFC's heads that, like, you guys will fuck it all up for everybody. You're the ones that are going to fuck it all up. So don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. If that is still the creed, hopefully a 19-year-old isn't the one that shoots a protester. I hope for that 19-year-old's sake, because I know for a fact if I was 19 in the Marine Corps as a boot-ass lance corporal or 20-year-old corporal, like, I don't want to be the one that shoots a protester. And there's articles
Right.
about, like, out of the fallout of the DC National Guard presence last year, where, like, the DC National Guard was there, and they're, like, getting dressed down by literally the pastors and neighbors. Like, they are looking at family members' faces. And your 19, 20, 21-year-old that is part of the economic draft that entered the National Guard as a way to get access to college and shit.
Yeah, I wanted tuition assistance, man.
I wanted tuition assistance. That's all I want. Exactly.
Right.
And now my pastor's yelling at me from a picket line, fucking riot, like, you know,
Right.
like,
My gun at him. I'm literally pointing my gun at the guy that baptized me. I'm pointing the gun at the guy that's marrying me and my fiance. I am
That's so sad.
shield bashing a 9-year-old child,
Yeah.
right? That stuff weighs on their minds. I know, like, hey Mash, when you were doing bat system stuff, does that stuff weigh on your mind now?
fucking everything weighs on my mind, man. And
Right.
like all that shit, these kids are being put in a position to do things that is gonna fucking tear them up for the rest of their lives. And I know that's like, oh, so sad for the PTSD of the oppressors, but like,
They're fucking kids.
Right.
like, they're fucking children.
Right. And you know, I always get a little torn with some people in the anti-war movement sometimes, just because, like, you know, I have nothing against the individual soldier. Honestly, like, I hope they get out soon. Like, I hope you can find some relief and get out of this. You know, I even said that. I even said that to the Army guys on the esports stream. I'm like, I hope you get to ETS soon, guys. Like, this is this is a load of bull they have you doing, because, like, they're tools. They are, you know, disposable. They're neglected. They're like,
You're literally a paragraph in line number.
yeah. And half the time they're, you know, active duty especially, right? They, you know, you like the word of Microsoft just said, you do as you're told, and that's it. Like, you just do as you're told. You have no other options. You have no other choices. You just do what you're told, and that's the expectation. And I don't blame this kid, 18-year-old, especially a private, you know, like, doing as they're told. They're just
No,
trying to
and I
make
hear
their
you.
lives
That's-
better.
And that's a greater issue within there's, and I think that's one of the strengths of Veterans for Peace specifically, if I could soapbox on our purpose for a minute, is
Yeah.
that we understand that, right? Like, there's this really unwelcome feeling in some of the circles on the left that I've run into,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, oh yeah, if you were ever a veteran, you're a fucking war criminal.
Right.
Oh, like you enlisted in the military? You should have known better. There's no excuse. You
Right.
fucking like servant of the fascist imperialistic military. It's like, look, dude, like I hear all this stuff now, but when I was 17, every 17-year-old is for the most part a product of their fucking upbringing.
Right.
Well, and you got
Right.
guys that are our age now sending their kids to Afghanistan.
Right.
Yeah, like I saw an article where there was a first sergeant who was deploying to Afghanistan. He was there, he was in the Iraq invasion, and now he was deploying to Afghanistan with his son. Like he went at like 19, 20, and now his son was deploying his first deployment at 18. And it was like this feel-good story about how like, oh yeah, father and son gonna be fucking blowing shit up together in Afghanistan.
I brought up. I asked you, Mash. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot about.
No, you're fine.
But
Boys, put me on the spot whenever you want, buddy. What was it for?
but like me, bats and hides and all that stuff still plays through my head a lot, and that's why that video hit me so hard. I started ranting the other day when I saw that clip. That was in a war space that we had been brainwashed to assume where people were our enemies. Like whatever mindset we were in, framing was provided to us through the indoctrination process that led us into the military and then in the military.
Right.
And all those circumstances. And we still knew it was wrong. At some fundamental, we developed a moral injury and have had to heal from this at some level. Now, you have a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, even, hell, a 30-year-old staff sergeant or gunny is now going to bats and hide a 19-year-old kid that is from their 2 blocks over from where they live.
Right.
Like, that shit is going to weigh on them while they're doing it on American soil. Like, I want to stress what is happening for the National Guard members that are going on here, because this is an opportunity to actually reach out. We saw after 2020 a lot of National Guard members coming out of the DC protests and things like that, talking about, no, I'm not going to do this again, or already talking about the moral injury that occurred
Right.
there. And if they're still in uniform, they already have a mind that knows that this is fucked. And if they are more apt to drop a shield, I predict we will see shields and M16s and helmets and sappy plates dropped in protests, in the streets of protests, before we see police lay down arms or
I hope
de-escalate.
so.
Oh yeah.
That would be
So
the dream.
Yeah, it's like
military will relent on harming U.S. civilians before the law enforcement will, because they
Yeah.
haven't been indoctrinated the same way. Having been through both indoctrination processes, the military still instills you with this sense of protecting your country as a whole, like the people of your nation.
Right.
And law enforcement indoctrination is much more about how the people of your nation, like there is evil hiding within the people of your nation, right? Like you have to protect there's wolves in sheep's clothing and they're going to look just like sheep. It's a lot easier to trick people in that paranoid state into like being dicks to their fellow man.
Yeah. Yep.
So much of
I-
the military dehumanization currently in the current environment has been focused on the Middle East.
Right.
I would argue that if you had a protest that went on in a predominantly Middle Eastern environment, you would see similar reactions from military members as to law enforcement, because they've been trained to be that way,
I
but
see
only towards a
nothing
specific subset.
Yep. I see nothing untrue with what you said at all.
Yeah, it's like they both sets take an oath, but who cares about it more?
Well, it's a different oath, and like, while the military just swears to the Constitution, the police force.
Oh,
I don't even know. Like, it's
Little-
different, right? Like, and the,
Little Pistons.
Yeah.
I've always
That's
felt, in terms of like the police force, that they gave up on protect and serve a long time ago.
Right.
They're more let's extort and make money for our county.
Metagame Gate brings up a good point about the about getting yelled at in leftist spaces, right? He says they say most people who say that have been brought up in situations of privilege and have the luxury to not need a way out, or was isolated in communities that were or blue collar, and then
Or urban.
And so it goes on to say that choice is a privilege. The choice to not go into the military. For me, the military was the only choice I had. I was brought up in a military household and a police household, a thin blue line household, and that whole Little Pistons brings up killology. Heard this over and over and again when working in public safety. The killology, sheep, wolves, and sheepdog stuff.
Oh yeah, I watched some of those.
I had so many arguments with my father, who would try to say that going to a bus stop, like as a police officer, you were in a war zone. He tried to justify the areas that we lived in as
Dang, I am so sorry.
If I could touch on that a little bit, we talked a lot about this on the Pillow Scream Radio podcast that I was a guest on. But about killology, and a lot of it was talking about that whole thing, and I'm not going to platform it here. But my experience in law enforcement, like what you were talking about, how your father had that that mindset of everything's a war zone, it comes from this whole killology thing, man, where I'm going to try and get through this quick because it's heavy. In law enforcement training, like in my progressive law enforcement training, one of the two things that stand out to me about this, they made us watch videos of people dying, like over and over again, cops dying on traffic stops and stuff. They, like in a classroom, we're sitting there, and they're telling us stuff like this is gonna be you. Like if you are afraid to pull your gun and kill somebody on a traffic stop, if you're not ready, like this is you. You're gonna fucking die. And they're like playing video after video of cops like calling their like wives' names, their mothers' names, that they like bleed out like in a pool of their own blood, like screaming. Like they made us listen to like cop after cop after cop die, and the whole time with this reinforcement of this idea that like this is what will happen to you. This is the world you're stepping into. If you can't handle it, leave. Because when you're out there on the street, they're out to get you. And then when we had our practical exercises, we had one exercise that fucked with me to this day, where we had a guy who was supposed to respond to a guy that's like mentally ill with a knife, right? And he's walking back and forth and not responding to you. And he's slowly getting closer to you over time. And you have to call out to this person over and over again and say, hey, stop, hey, put the knife down, hey, stop, whatever. And they're going to ignore you. And to pass the test, to pass or fail test, you fail the academy automatically if you don't do this. At the end of the academy, 6 months of training, right? You have to tell this person, this mentally unstable person, holding a knife, not charging you, not being threatening, you have to tell them, if you take one more step forward, I'm going to kill you. You're a threat to me, and you're a threat to the people around here. And if you take one more step forward, sir, I am going to shoot you, and I'm going to kill you. And then you have to do it. You have to pull your pistol. You have to fire sim rounds at a person who is not charging you with a knife, who is just slowly getting closer to you with a knife. You have to execute somebody, basically, to pass the fucking police academy.
So it's funny that you bring that up, because in Philadelphia, we literally had that situation occur. Oh man, I do not want to say the wrong name. I believe it was Walter Wallace is his name. Say his name. I want to properly credit that, so I have to look it up once I'm not fighting a skeleton. But gentleman was.
That's the legacy of killology.
Yeah.
Of that asshole's like.
Yeah, and please,
Anyway.
just a little plug. Check out Pillow Scream Radio. You can find
That was
them on
episode
any,
12, I believe, where we really dove into that stuff.
Yeah, and you can find them on any podcast app. Highly recommend them.
So it is Walter Wallace Jr. I wanted to make sure I corrected and had the right name. Pay respects. rest in power.
All right, I
Walter
finally.
Wallace Jr. was in a mental health crisis, and had a knife. Was far enough away from police, and was executed in the streets of Philadelphia.
And that's the difference between military and law enforcement training, right? Because I got to go through that after going through military training and had some sense of how fucking fucked it all was, right? And like how much of a joke law enforcement training was connected to military training and all that. But most of the people that I went to the academy with in law enforcement didn't have that experience.
And a lot of people that go into the police academy already have that belief. They're already indoctrinated. So I know I've brought up in a couple different places, like on this stream even, like how militarization and the fetishization of military and hero worship bleeds into our civilian lexicon and behavior, into the social contract that we have, and it normalizes and it inures people to the reality that they're dealing with human beings, and it predisposes them to this punisher mentality, even as civilians that have never served, because of the hero worship. So then they go into law enforcement, or a high school kid that doesn't go into the military but sees the route as, I want to be a cop. In a lot of cities, counties, and places, all you need is a high school degree to be a police officer.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that all the time, by the way, in law enforcement. There's I mean, and how many times have you heard it in other places? Like, oh, I didn't have the chance to serve. Like, I wanted to serve, but, you know, something happened. Like, it's great that you got to serve in the military. I would have, except for something bad happened, or, you know, I had flat feet or something. But, oh, man, like, I wish I could have gone overseas.
I really,
I'm a cop.
I really fucking hate to say it, but I actually didn't get to serve because of flat feet. But
Well, but I'm not talking about from you, man. Like, clearly you're here. I'm talking about people that are like, they have that buddy, like, kill 'em all bullshit, hero worship mentality, and they
that's what I'm
justify
saying.
it.
I actually told my girlfriend about this the other day. Like, I feel like there are a lot of cops out there who just couldn't, like, their ASFAB was bad, and the military was like, no, thank you.
Meta GameGate brings up a good point on that. They don't allow educated people into the force. You guys want to know what my first red flag was that law enforcement might not be for me? I went and took my psych eval, and they have you take an IQ test, and the psych eval guy almost failed me because my IQ was too high. He talked to me for like 20 minutes about, like, why do I want to be a cop, because it's just really weird for you to want to get into this field.
Right.
Like, there's actually and you can look it up, other departments have, like, there are upper limits on IQ for law enforcement. Upper limits.
That's a pretty sad story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting off topic, but those are some of the major differences I would
It's
say
all
between, like, the
related.
training in law enforcement and the National Guard, and, like,
Yeah. It's all related, though. You know, I mean,
And to go back to something you guys were talking about earlier, in terms of the National Guard, quote unquote, I feel like it should be their duty to guard the nation. It shouldn't, like, I mean, yeah, if they have to be deployed, get deployed, but for the most part, they should just be here on our shores. But they also should not be shooting civilians or even having to defend cities from civilians.
right? Like, when I think of the National Guard justly defending the nation or the city from a civilian populace, I think that looks like the National Guard maybe, I don't know, responding to an insurrection at the Capitol a little faster.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like, oh, hey, an attack on the Capitol where there's, like, literally bombs, and they're hanging a gallows out in front and chanting that they're going to hang the vice president. They're, like, hunting for senators. That's a place where maybe the National Guard should be dumping some fucking heads.
And
Not out of
literally-
protest.
Yeah, literally people with blatantly just like, here's my weapon, like just out in public. Like, if you wear a rifle as a fashion statement,
You're a fucking idiot.
yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know how to put that. I was trying to find more
No,
pleasant
it's
words.
I got you,
okay.
fam.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
say idiot.
No, yeah, no,
Thank
you're
you. Right?
you're
Like,
1,000% correct.
yeah, like
I'm not like, if you're carrying a CCW, like there's nuance to this argument, but we're talking about a rifle,
right,
right?
Yeah,
Like if you're walking down the street strapped with an AR-15,
right. Like
Something's wrong.
and you're not like a Black Panther defending a fucking impoverished community, something's fucking wrong with you.
right,
You're an idiot.
right. I'm a gun owner. Like I definitely own guns, but they are locked in my safe where they're supposed to be.
Hmm.
You know, like if you, I don't, the big thing, like, and I think Olin can relate to this, right? Like the gun rack in the back of your truck. Like, why do you need a whole gun rack in the back of your truck?
Yeah, I mean, like, unless you're jumping out to shoot a deer on your property, you don't need a gun rack. You just don't.
Right.
Period.
And in New York, at least, that's illegal. Like, you can't jump out of your vehicle, even on your own property, and shoot a deer.
Yeah.
But like,
Unless you have
yeah,
guns in the
You could do.
sky.
We should at some point do. Well, no, actually, I take that back. We should probably not do a whole stream topic on gun laws. It's a little outside our purview. But there's a lot to unpack there.
There is.
'Cause
I agree. There's a whole lot to unpack. There's tons to unpack around the veteran narrative about that because of so much involving, like so much of our experience involves firearms and all sorts of things, all sorts of toys that go boom boom, and
Right.
there's tons to unpack about it. I don't know if that content could adequately be discussed in an environment. I know that we get into heavy
Yeah.
while playing a video game. I don't know if that's a topic that could be covered in a like while playing a video game because there's so
Yeah.
much nuance and shit around
Right.
it. You know?
And legality. Like, so once we start talking about firearms, and this is probably the last thing I'll say on it, we start dealing with the Constitution again. We start talking about what kind of things are haves, what kind of things are needs, what kind of things are wants, and what kind of things can be restricted, right? Like, and what that looks like, and every other country in the world's restrictions, right? Like there are responsible gun owners in Germany, and there are responsible gun owners in Canada, and there are responsible gun owners all over the place, and they all have different systems that are really nuanced and have a lot. It's a very legal conversation to have.
Mhm. Yeah,
well, I will say, as somebody who is from Tennessee, who has been shooting guns since they were, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, that the amount of open carry that I saw when I moved to Louisiana was outrageous.
Yeah, Louisiana's like gun capital of the fucking country, man.
Like you just walk into Circle K to get a can of Coke, and there'd be 3 guys in there with just a pistol on their hip.
See, that doesn't make me safe. That doesn't make me feel safe at all.
right.
Mostly because I know those guys aren't trained within a fucking worth a lick of spit.
Right.
Well, and like to me, like as a somebody who's been shooting for a long time, I personally I don't want them to know I have it.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
that's why I think the real answer there. Never mind. I'm not gonna go
Gotta
there.
I gotta cut you off real quick, Master. I need somebody to save me from this 1-star Grey Dwarf that I'm doing a body run from.
I'm
Are you
almost.
mad?
I'm on the way.
If you're doing a corpse run, you don't take damage. You can just punch him to death.
I've died 4 times trying to recover this body.
What do you mean you don't take damage?
If you're doing a corpse run, you take less damage.
But you only have 25 health.
Yeah, but like you basically take no damage. You may take 1 damage per hit.
You, yeah,
I,
you-
I died on the corpse run to the corpse where the Draugr killed me. The
Oh
great
boy.
already, and I can't find my body now. It's not showing up on my map.
It only shows your last death.
Yeah.
Maybe we should let's all take a nap and come back in the daytime and try and help
Yeah.
him find his body.
All right.
I might need that help.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say in response to everything that's going on, if you are a responsible gun owner and you're on the left, shameless plug, I'm a member of the Socialist Rifle Association,
Mhm.
and you know,
Yeah, you gotta send me that
It's
info.
the-
I want to sign up.
there are good groups of people that are interested in firearms education and being responsible firearms owners
Mhm.
that are not idiots. Right, the national. I'm gonna totally butcher it, but it's like the National Black Gun Owners of America or something like that. Like they've
Right.
recently released membership to extreme levels. There's the Rainbow Pistols, which is an LGBTQ
I love it.
gun club that's pretty big. Like there's space for this on the left too. And like I said, I'm a big proponent of the SRA, Socialist Rifle Association, as an answer to the fuddy NRA.
I love the rainbow pistols. That's awesome. I just want a bumper sticker for that.
They've got some really nice ones that have that have like an AR-15 and over the rainbow flag, and it says "Defend Equality."
Right?
I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
That's
Low
the energy I
Pistons
like to bring to
brought
the
up-
Smash the Fash table.
Right. Little Pistons brought up something funny in the chat. I thought it was like, she's like, dude, you're 90 years old with a dual revolver sticking out of your giant leather holster. How are you going to keep someone from taking those or breaking a hip under the weight? Right? Like, so my family hunts, and you know they've been hunting on the same property for a very long time, and they, you know, are pretty old at this point. Some of them, right? And some of them have the cognition to like just kind of give up hunting because they recognize how old they are and how much they can't even aim anymore, right? But one guy is just not giving it up, and he is just super dangerous. He has no muzzle awareness whatsoever, and we're at the point where like, do we kick him off the property? But he's like 80 something years old. Like, he's been up here longer than I have, you know. So it's just, those are the nuance of that. Like, it's just, he used to have a much more muzzle awareness, but he's like old and has the fuck it and doesn't care anymore.
Oddly enough, I had a dream about like somebody.
Oh, okay,
muzzle-sweeping
okay.
me
Hey,
the
by the
other
way.
night.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Did I just cut you off? I Google searched what the the LGBTQ gun club was.
Oh yeah.
I confused two. There's Pink Pistols,
Mm-hmm.
which is the pro-gay pro-gun club, and then there's Trigger Warning, which is the queer and trans gun club. Just want to get that right for anybody that was actually interested.
I approve of both of these names,
Right.
and I'm here for it. I'm joining them both.
Yeah, go ahead, Olin. I'm sorry.
I know you're fine. I was just saying I had a dream the other night where somebody was like muzzle sweeping me, and I got pissed off and beat the shit out of them. Like, you have to be responsible.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, National Guard.
Yeah,
we
let's-
got so off topic again.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. So.
No, that's okay, man.
Yeah, no, like the conversations we're on
Mhm.
all fit into National Guard, right? Because National Guard, here's what a lot of people I think don't realize about the military, especially with like 18-year-olds that go into National Guard or reserves, right? Is you are 17 or 18, fresh out of high school, you go to boot camp, MOS, AIT, MOS school. You come back, if you went in at 18, you've spent 6 months, depending on length of MOS school. Let's just roughly call it 6 months.
I think that's above average too.
Is that above average?
Oh yeah, for an MOS school.
Because
like, if
they
you're
do
just
like
talking about AIT,
infantry does like OSUT now, and it's like 15 weeks long.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's just their training mixed into basic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
So Marine Corps, as a reservist, you go through 3-month, 90-day boot camp.
Hmm.
20-day AIT, Advanced Infantry Training, because you're not doing infantry or MCT, excuse me, Marine Combat Training is what we call it.
Mhm.
I died jumping onto a
You
rock.
You died?
I died again.
He jumped on a rock and died.
Oh my god.
By the way, there's about 8 gravestones of mine floating around right now. Okay, so you go to MCT. I think MCT is 6 weeks, right? So you've spent 12 weeks, 18 weeks through boot camp and MCT, and then MOS school is weeks to that's another 3 months. So like 6 months is a long average, right?
Oh, okay.
It's the high side of the
Yeah.
average for
Right.
boot camp through MOS school. So you're 18, maybe turning 19, and you've just been trained to perform a job in the military that isn't something that you do civilian side, and kill people, and handle firearms, and then you're put back into the community that you came from with no care for what you're doing. Like, units don't care that you have a job, have a place to live, do any of that at all. And now you're tasked with defending Minneapolis against unarmed civilians doing peaceful protests,
Right.
right? National Guard and Reserves, the illusion of escaping the economic woes that drafted you in the first place, it's a lie. Like,
Oh yeah, it is.
get it, the benefit of, like, you sold your soul and didn't get the return. Right?
Right.
I got I was homeless when I got kicked back to reserve duty. I was
Sin,
homeless, living in my car for like 6 months.
Sin, are you on your way over again?
I am porting through right now.
But yeah,
I'll take
no, there were so many low-income people in the Guard when I was in. Like, for some, like, that was their only income, was the 1 weekend a month.
It's not even like it's all like I said earlier. It's kind of an escape. Like, how do I get out of this place?
But
I
only
can't
like
afford
halfway.
college,
Right.
and I can't afford to, quote unquote, pick myself up by my bootstraps. So I guess I'm gonna strap some fucking boots on and
Right?
it's like that's like super duper rough.
What kind of job does your average 19-year-old National Guard member have? Like, what are they work in retail? Waiters? That's what I did.
Right.
Like, I worked retail and waited and struggled in between deployments until we deployed, and as a reservist. And I don't think National Guard is any different in that situation.
Right.
There were people that begged for deployments in the National Guard because otherwise they
Yeah.
weren't going to get paid. Like that's the only way they were making any money was just to back deployments.
I have many friends, guys, and my weapon is broken.
Oh, I thought you were
Oh.
going on a story.
I thought so too.
No, I got 2 blobs and 2 draggers chasing me right
All
now.
right, where are you?
Did Sin
I
get
see
his
ya.
body back yet?
I'm almost there. I'm almost to the body that has all the equipment.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Let's go save
Yeah. Pace.
I mean, I'm not,
Chong,
I'm not,
whatever
not-
his name is in here.
I'm not in danger. I think they gave up on me actually, so I'm good.
I see you running.
Successful
Yeah.
body recovery, then got shot by a skeleton. I'm running. I am running.
Okay. On our way.
Oh, shit.
I'm actually kind of trying to terraform this out so that we don't have to swim.
Get trench foot.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Success. I am running back to you guys. I might have
Yeah.
friends.
All right.
Phoenix and I are en route.
Yep.
QRF.
QRF, it takes 10 minutes to get there.
So, oh, here's another thing about National Guard. How many of you guys worked with non-citizens that were in National Guard units or in your active duty units?
So I was in MI. So I actually worked with people who were forced to give up dual citizenship with other countries because they couldn't work our job and have multiple citizenships.
Yeah, that
So
happens.
unfortunately, in the MI world, it's
That was a
Limit-
1-star. I saw that mash. I'm sorry. I should have warned you.
okay. So yeah, unfortunately, that's a gap. And
Run away. I got him.
flee for your lives.
So,
That is something that pisses me off to no
Careful, one of
end.
these guys is a 1-star.
Is the fact that, you know, say somebody joins up. I mean, I know this is completely off topic. I did. Is people who join up who are, you know, I guess on green card status or something along those lines, and they don't get their citizenship after they get out, or they get deported.
Yeah, deported
That's
veterans.
exactly where I was going.
Do you want to plug what you're up to, Sten?
Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
I'm coming in here to plug something, but I bring it up because I actually served with guys in like boot camp. I had a bunch of guys that didn't have citizenship, and they were telling me that like I'm coming in, like they're from Puerto Rico and from Puerto Rico is obviously citizens, but Mexico and other places where they didn't have citizenship, and they're coming in and enlisting with the hope of assisting them and it looking good for their citizenship application
Mhm.
under the premise that this is going to help them. And then the military turns around and deports them. And this is a problem I didn't know about until pretty recently, until coming into the Gamers for Peace area and linking up with Veterans for Peace. So the reason I bring this up because National Guard members that include like there are National Guard members that do not have citizenship that are on the streets helping, or that are on the streets doing what they think is helping the nation they are trying to become
That
or
blows my
become
mind.
part of, and then the nation turns around and deports them. So I wanted to plug right now. There's tomorrow there's a press conference occurring in DC for the DC Mural Arts program. Veterans for Peace is part of it. There's a mural going up at 1:30. Mural's actually almost done, but there's a press conference regarding the Port of Veterans, and we'll be live streaming it. And it's a really important topic that needs to be discussed more because National Guard, reserves, active duty, there are people that we have served with that are taken away from their home, taken away from their families, taken away from every single thing that they've dedicated their lives to through service to the nation, and they're essentially lied to and taken away. Mars Gets Good says recruiters tell them that enlisting will help them with their papers.
And it doesn't. Like, that's the big lie.
Meta
If a
thank-
recruiter's talking, they're fucking lying.
That is 100% true. If a recruiter is opening their mouth to you, they want something, they are gaming you, and they are lying. It is.
And you know
all
what's funny is that that's a known thing in the military. Like even in the military, where like everybody was like operating within the military structure, talking about re-enlisting, all that stuff. Like it's a known fucking concept from basic training on through your entire military career.
Right.
Your recruiter lied to you.
I think they even-
All recruiters lie to everybody.
They tell you that at basic.
Yeah. Like flat out. Like it's like, hey, mask off, everybody. Guess what? You got bamboozled.
Right.
Does the Army or National Guard call it the big green weenie?
We don't, but I've heard that term before.
So the Marine Corps has a thing like it's called the Uncle Sam's big green weenie.
Oh,
my
yes.
God.
Okay.
And, like the military bends you over.
It
Expletive.
just fucks you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big green weenie will always get it. Will always win. No matter what, the government, the system,
Oh.
it always wins. In the way it
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah, the only way you're getting out at that point is probably shooting yourself in the foot. So
I genuinely
see-
thought about it.
we got the exact opposite. When I was going through basic, we were over strength. We were constantly getting screamed at that the army doesn't want you here. We don't need you here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to look at your stupid ugly face anymore.
really?
Get the fuck out of here. Just quit. Just quit, you piece of shit. Just quit. Quit, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but it's all
Mhm.
part of the fucking game.
I will say that Marcella, that, again, my girlfriend, like that's why I'm so upset about the fact that people who aren't necessarily quote unquote citizens get the shaft that way. She came here, she worked her ass off to become a citizen of this nation.
Mhm.
And I feel like that anybody that's in the military and serves this country should automatically become a citizen. Period. End of story.
Right.
I think most people assume that that's how it works. Because I know I did before I found out about deported veterans.
I need help. I need help.
Right.
Somebody help me.
Moving.
Where are you, Sin?
I
Pushing
have-
out.
I'm running away from you guys currently without any stamina, and 3 joggers and a skeleton on my ass, trying to loop
I
around
think
here.
I see them.
Is this the man that's very far away?
Yes, this is the man that is very far away.
So I am the pirate king. Oh fuck you, skeleton! I'm
You
dead.
die?
I'm dead. I'm about to. I got stuck in
Push to us.
trees.
He's
No,
dead.
he's
got-
dead.
I got
Oh.
stuck in between trees, and they surrounded me, and I got tree lined. Literally tree lined.
Just gonna go hump your dead body and just wait for you to come back.
Well, at least it's out of the swamp, right?
I'm literally just using a knife right now because all my shit's broken and I don't have the energy to go back.
Oh boy, you stirred up quite the hornet's nest here, Sin.
See that on your screen.
I think there must be
I
a
got it.
thing.
Oh, this is terrible. I'm gonna die too. No, I'm not, because I'm gonna run. I'm gonna take the smart option and evacuate.
Just want to let you guys know that I make
So-
friends everywhere I go.
Tactical retreat.
Want to know who we are?
Oh
So
no,
we
stop.
We are Vikings. Mighty mighty. I think Nash is gonna kill me.
There's still a Draugr that is very interested in my booty. Oh God,
Did you die?
no, I'm good, but he hates my guts.
All right, I'm moving to you.
But he's also stupid, so I'm literally just walking in a circle. I'm not even running.
Wait.
Sin got past me. Oh boy, you got great orcs on you too, huh? You really do make friends everywhere you go, huh, bud?
That's why I was civil affairs.
Right? Everybody loves Sin. Just
Thanks,
wants to
Jeremiah.
stab him in the throat. You're welcome.
That's just foreplay.
I should probably go.
Sounds fucked up foreplay.
Don't
Wow.
kink shame.
If you're into it, right?
No,
As
stabbing
long
in
as
the
it's
throat.
consenting.
Can somebody do me a super solid and ping the portal hub here, or where the portal is here? Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for doing that, because I didn't have it marked on my map either.
Here did I.
I just counted on constantly fucking dying and never going back on a return trip.
Well,
I built
bad.
I built a bed here, so I'm good now. I also built a really super shitty house.
You know what? Sucks,
No, I think
though?
it was nice. It worked out okay. It's a nice house for a swamp.
For Swamp House.
Swamp houses
I
are
still
really
have
good.
not found a new crypt. There's none to the south part of this swamp.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go northwest.
Swamp House, new band name, called it.
Swamp house, like Blau House. Old punk band.
Oh, I'm not even familiar with it.
I am also fucking.
So, Sin, do you have our Star Spangled Banner on the
Oh yeah, the
outro
didgeridoo.
music?
That happens. Just stand by.
Dear God.
Oh
Do
my
we-
God.
Does anybody else have any like burning thoughts about the current state of the National Guard in response? Like maybe specifically nail it in or hone it into the National Guard preemptive response to potential protests surrounding the Derek Chauvin response. That they're anticipating public outcry and are preemptively developing force to respond to it.
My personal thought, again, outsider looking in, is that they're more well trained to deal with it than the police are. And given the current administration, hopefully nobody dies. I'll just leave it there.
I think that they should be there to protect the protesters,
Right?
and that is it.
Ideally.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Like, I don't feel like the police are equipped to handle that sort of a situation. Obviously, after the Capitol riots, the police are not. Like, there was that one guy that did a great job, but for the most part, everybody else just kind of sucked.
Finally, I found a new crypt.
Please tell me this is here. Oh my God, this is even better.
Regarding the trial, the jury has concluded deliberation for the day. They're going to be sequestered during deliberation.
Yeah, this one.
Oh shit! Run!
I wasn't expecting a thing today. Decision today. They're gonna draw this out.
It.
Well, I don't know that they're going to draw this out, but the jury is going over all the evidence. I imagine the jurors are. This isn't going to be an easy case to come to a decision on.
No.
They've charged him with 3 different. He's going to be found not guilty on 2 of the 3 charges, right? Because they essentially charged him with the same thing 3 different ways.
Mhm.
And it comes down to what they decide his intent, state of mind, responsibilities, and actions really were at that time.
Right.
I feel like DAs always do that just so that they can at least get one thing to stick, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad decision. It's just that they charged him with like unintentional manslaughter and then also 3rd-degree murder and then also a separate charge. I can't recall now.
Second-degree murder.
2nd-degree murder. 2nd-degree manslaughter. So unintentional, 2nd-degree unintentional murder,
We have a troll.
3rd-degree murder.
We have a troll problem. Sorry.
Wait, no,
Not to-
you're good.
Not to interrupt. There's a troll problem at the main base where I'm at.
The main base.
Like the one that
Oh, okay.
Camp 2.
Okay. Yeah, the main base, the first
Coming
base.
over.
Oh, the first base.
Yep.
yeah, they are not
Oh.
happy.
No, I think it was. I think
No,
it
you were
really
right
is.
on the-
I was right.
Yeah.
It is Camp 2.
Okay. The harbor.
Yep,
Haba.
yeah, the Haba. Yeah, we
The
should
Haba.
probably change the name for that. Where? Oh, shit, he's like right there.
I am just trying to lead them away from smashing everything right now. Because
Oh,
they
looks like
were
there's 2.
fucking up the walls big
Go
time.
back up.
Way to end the stream.
Go back up.
End of stream.
Oh, I'm so dead. Yep. Okay. Well, there's 3
way.
trolls.
They broke down the wall. It looks like. Ah, they're working on this house. Fuck. Oh shit, there's 2. Hello.
Yeah, I think me spawning in there
Oh, fuck it
kind
up.
of.
Oh, okay, they're disappearing. The shake starts to fade. We survive.
No.
Okay. No, I died. I guess I was. They were lagging on me. They're supposed to disappear, but they did.
They do normally, but yeah, I just tried to lead them away as best I could, but
No,
I got-
I'm stuck, and I'm down by the side of the house. I am under the ground.
Oh, Sam.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I see where he is.
Ooh,
Dude, these souls are not leaving.
Oh boy.
Where you at, Sin? Oh shit.
He left now.
Have you tried? Let your stamina recharge and then try spam jumping.
okay.
Up the wall. Yeah.
yeah, you can scoot. Oh, I'm dead. I'm so dead in the swamp. This is the greatest.
You're in the
Yeah.
swamp.
He put his
Yeah,
bed in the swamp.
I built
Ah.
a bed here.
Oh,
This is a
shit.
sheer cliff face. Like there is no steps or anything here.
Okay,
Is-
hold
Wait,
on.
wait,
Let me
hold on.
get some stone. Do you have stone?
I do.
Do you have enough stone? Oh my god,
If you-
motherfucker!
If you have a pickaxe and you can cut out a 90-degree angle, you can jump up the walls, no problem.
Getting claustrophobic here.
I made it. Almost.
I got you.
Ah!
Okay, let's try
I'm
again.
glad
Get
I'm
up
just
there.
watching this.
I'm out of
Get up there,
stamina.
Moraine.
You got it.
Get up there, Moraine.
You didn't tell me how high to jump.
Jump higher.
Got it. All right.
I
No, I just gotta get my stamina back. No, I just need my stamina. We're good. Reason to keep terraforming.
So, to close out the stream, I wanted to say that the National Guard right now is in a precarious, like National Guard members are in a precarious position because I think there was a lot of pushback individually. I think there are a lot more people screaming into pillows within National Guard right now that are easy to talk to. There are people that, like, the veteran community as a whole needs to be engaged across the left and across progressive movements as a whole through various activities, because veterans do shit. Like, veterans do activities and hobbies, as we prove here on a gaming channel. And engaging with veterans through their spaces and giving them a space that is safe, that they know that they have other veterans that know the struggle.
Camaraderie.
Yes, thank you. The camaraderie that comes about through the activities and things that we have engaged in through the military and as civilians are going to be the way that we can affect National Guard and potentially give people outs and let them know that they do have options when they have the moral conundrum of, do I want to put my boots on and go put my boot against the neck of a civilian protester? And I think that conversation needs to be stressed across everywhere. We need to talk about recruitment for National Guard. There's so much interplay between the militarization of our civilian population through the National Guard, because it is a backup plan. It's a part-time job. That's how it gets advertised. And the moral conundrums that go to people that often are in National Guard seems to be a likely out for a lot of people, especially when their demographic isn't part of the hegemony. And they are the economic draft. They know how fucked up it is to be dropping 20 mic rounds off the top of an MRAP into civilian populations, into like American civilian populations that live 2 miles away from them.
Right.
And these people do not have to be engaged as enemy. I mean, I'm all ACAB. I personally am ACAB.
Yeah, I care a lot more about Joe, like, you know, like a troop than I do the cops.
Yes. Becoming
Because
a cop,
you're not on contract for 8 years when you become a cop. I'm proof positive. As soon as you see that it's bullshit, fucking leave.
Yeah, I mean, you have a choice when you're a cop. Like, when you're a soldier, you don't overly have a choice.
any longer. Yep. And I think large conversations need to be had with National Guard on the lines. If you're protesting or doing anything, right? Veterans to the front is needs to be the call. I heard a lot of white bodies to the front in various protests over the last year. And I think veterans need to start occupying that space as well. Mm-hmm. We, especially National Guard that have the moral injury that can speak to, or reservists,
we speak the language.
Yeah, they're going to respond to, hey, I'm a veteran. A, you're doing this wrong, and B, I'm going to talk to you like a boot, and C, what you're doing, is wrong, because I know it's wrong. I was where you are. Mm-hmm. Speaking their language and and then giving them an off-road is going to create more comrades and allies that in the fight for equality and
Justice in general.
justice and all those good things that we constantly are talking about, that the military is what we thought we were going to be fighting for when we went into the military. There is an opportunity to actually do it and speak to people about doing that. And hopefully they drop their shields and gear right on the spot. I think that'll happen. I really hope that will happen. And I hope that happens before National Guard Lance Corporal or PFC or Specialist puts ground grill grapes.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Is it someone's either going to drop a weapon and join sides from the National Guard, or we're going to have another conversation about how National Guard are firing on civilians.
There's another
And-
troll coming in.
If you were pulling triggers on civilians, my empathy stops with you. Like,
Yeah, that's
here
the
for-
line, man.
I'm here to save brothers and sisters in uniform, and make them part of the conversation for a better world. But once you cross that line, right, and you make that decision to fire on unarmed civilian population, there's a huge reckoning that needs to have. My sympathy stops, and we need to
Yeah,
have
we're
other conversations.
clearly not playing for the same fucking team at that point.
Yep. Yeah. So I hope that some in-service people hear us and they know what we're talking about. And I hope they reach out to us or see the stream. I hope that VFP members are making calls, veterans to the front, and talking to their brethren across the line. Because cops aren't our brothers. I'm sorry to say, a cop isn't my brother, but a National Guard member is. So, I think that's the end of my soapbox.
Uh,
I love it.
I'll say that I feel like that the National Guard does have a place in getting kids out in some way. Whether or not it's in their best interest, that's a different story. But my best friend's mom was in the National Guard for 30 years on top of being a nurse. And she basically just used it as a way to make extra income. Like she was constantly in the National Guard, as far as I know. At least as long as I've known her and I've known him, and that's been 20 years. So like it does serve its purpose to a degree. But that is not its purpose, is to be out there having some 18, 19-year-old kid having to worry about policing civilians or potentially shooting a civilian and then having to live with that for the rest of their life.
Well, that's
Wondering if that, that one squeeze is something that's going to ruin the rest of their lives.
and that's a conversation to have some other time. But like that would, I mean, like my first thought when you said that was like, I probably wouldn't spend the rest of my life wondering about it. I would either become the biggest activist in the entire world, or I'd kill myself.
Right.
I
And
can't imagine living
suicide within the veteran community is astronomically fucking high.
22 bets a day. That point that you just made, Bash, I think if National Guard does get involved and things do escalate involving the National Guard, that 22 number is going to go up a lot higher amongst National Guard and reserves. That deal
yeah.
on American soil.
And we are always here for any veteran that is expressing, those types of feelings or thoughts. Like, of course, reach out.
Absolutely. It's
I
such
don't
an important
care
thing, man.
What political ideology you have, like,
Oh, man, that has nothing to do with it. Don't
yeah.
Yeah.
if you got problems, get help, man. That affects lots of people.
Mhm.
I'm sure it's affected lots of people here on this stream. Thank you, Little Pistons, for putting the free the crisis counselor line in the chat. Anybody
Yes.
needs it, please check in on that. Stuff is hard, man.
Mhm.
I did suicide prevention when I was in. The fact that in the military we have to have a suicide prevention NCO position,
Mhm.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's rough, man. If you're feeling like that, you're not alone. Please get help. Please talk to somebody.
And you know, so my deployed in the National Guard to a combat zone. You know, this was actually my bigger fear. Like if I ever got deployed stateside to a protest, I'm glad that I never had to make that call. But I genuinely don't think I could do it.
Well, I know that back in the day during the Chicago riots, they shot the shit out of a lot of people.
Hmm.
So I understand where that's coming from.
Yeah.
And again, as an outsider, if there's anybody out there that's, you know, afraid to maybe reach out to a brother, I'm here. I'll talk to you. I don't care. I mean, I know it's a rough road for all you guys. Like, I'm glad I didn't travel it at the end of the day. But I'm overly happy to sit down and talk with anybody that needs to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I know I was just being super serious, but why is there a door that leads to nowhere down here?
Where?
Door
Oh,
that
because
leads nowhere.
I added a door in that the space where I fell down. So now you you can open the door and walk inside
That's great.
the crabby
Is it still there? It has to stay.
the door.
It's
Yes.
important.
It's important.
We have to put a sign, Sin's door to nowhere.
Right.
Some Alice in Wonderland shit right there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna sign us off.
Well, before you sign us off, I have a song. I have our anthem prepared.
Oh, and before you didgeridoo, hey, what's the rest of the schedule look like for this week?
Oh yeah. Sin, you want to take it?
Sure, I'll plug. We have, well, obviously Monday nights is our Valheim stream, which you wonderful people have just witnessed. This Wednesday, we have our D&D campaign. It is back on with our regularly broadcasted campaign, Broken Thrones, run by Rep.
I'm very sad that I'm not a part of that.
Don't worry, Pace.
We'll
Don't
be
worry.
doing
We're
more.
going to have a second D&D game coming soon, hopefully, in the near
Mhm.
future. More D&D games to be had. On Thursday, we have our Dilemma Circle meeting, which is our transparent and open and live streamed admin meeting discussing the future and the plans of Gamers for Peace, where we do some consensus dialogue about what we're working on. Friday, we have Coach Mash hosting our FPS Friday with what's the topic this week, Mash?
This week we're going to be talking about misogyny in gaming, toxic gaming culture as it relates to over-sexualization of women in video games, and also female-centric hate in video games.
Man.
That's going to be a great a heavy, deep conversation, but a great conversation. I hope a lot of good comes out of that one. What were you
No.
going to say?
I was just gonna plug or say that I want to officially add this to the admin meeting, but maybe we should have a day where we just talk about cartoons. Like I just want to talk about cartoons or something, something that's not heavy. Yeah, today
You need
was so
something
heavy.
positive.
Yeah.
Well, I
right?
think
we need something.
Well, we
positive.
played around with the idea of doing like a philosophy just chatting podcast, which is the opposite of what you just said, I guess. But like, I think it would be worth it to every other week maybe do a just chatting where we get all of our minds together and we all just kind of talk about a topic that's maybe less extreme,
Right.
right?
The world is
Not
so
as
effed.
depressing.
Right. And
Like we could call it like a positive chatting or something. Or just,
Yeah.
like we got to come up with something nice and fucking sunshine and rainbows,
we should
man.
do
Meditation day.
right? No, we could do I do restorative justice practices a lot at work, And we could do like a streamed like community building circle, and a lot of that stuff is just positive. You know, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, what was one of your proudest moments this week? You know, we talk about those kind of things.
Yep.
It's like that would be fun, like that kind of positivity. And
I'm here for all of that. My vote's there.
right?
Let me
Keep
check.
saving all these resources, Little Pistons posting.
Yeah, Little Pistons and highly
Highly
sensitive
sensitive youth.
Hornet
Yep.
chat are
Yes,
posting
both.
a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
Would you
Thank
guys
you guys.
greatly mind if I build a shed to get some of these resources in order?
Actually, you could turn this building. You could dismantle this building. This building's useless.
Krabby, isn't that what you're doing?
Are you talking about organizing all the stuff?
Yeah, like with
Here, come
signs, and things
Look
of
in
that
the
nature.
look in the.
Follow me, sir.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
am I
let's,
following?
let's
Krabby.
explore Krabby's
Krabby.
building before I get off screen.
Come here, buddy. I'm working on it.
Look at this. She built a basement. How cool is that? I've always wanted a basement. in this game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is exactly kind of what I was
I am
talking
OCD as shit.
Oh my
so-
gosh.
I
This
hear
is
ya.
fantastic.
about. Yeah, I had one set up on our server, on my server with my friends, and a bunch of trolls came and tore it down. So that's why I
Oh
let
no.
everybody know.
Well, if
there was-
you
Love it.
want to put anything on this one, please go ahead. If you want to add anything to it,
Well,
please feel free.
yeah, and this building that's pretty much MASH replaced over here is it's useless now. It serves no purpose. This one
Want to
can
make
be
that a food
destroyed.
house?
we also built a. Well,
Okay,
I should
yeah,
say
could be
not.
food.
I should say not we. I also built just a giant dick and balls tower.
Where's the tower?
It's on. Well, not here.
Oh.
On my other server. It's a spectacle to behold, and it needs to be torn down.
Well, I don't know. Insert penis jokes here.
I'm looking at the Hawkeye initiative right now, and it's a great resource.
I'm
it's-
going.
I will have to check that out. Can you put those links in the Zoom chat? Because I haven't had a chance to click on them.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
You
not
got
right
it.
this second.
You got it, Mash.
All right. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Hopefully, you'll catch us on our other streams later this week. We appreciate everybody that participated in the chat today. I think it definitely added to the discussion, and I really look forward to more of these discussions, because especially from that citizen soldier perspective. Sometimes I feel like that's not quite talked about enough, because they're just this middle ground sometimes that, you know, they're a bridge that maybe we can lean on a little bit. And they're human. You know, I made a mistake at 17, and I'm not going to blame these 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds for being in the military. But hopefully we can reach out to them with that, you know, welcoming arm and be there for them when they finally kind of get that sudden realization that what they're doing might not be so kosher. So, but thank you all for joining us tonight. Any other last minute thoughts?
Tomorrow, tune in to our live stream of the Deported Veterans mural press conference. That
Oh,
will be
yes.
at 1:30 Eastern. And check our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You'll see info for it there. And I forgot to plug Community Game Night, Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh yeah,
Join us for Community Night. We played Jackbox last night. It was amazing.
that was fun.
Phoenix did a great job hosting. The last thought I have is I have our outro music ready.
do
Nice.
it.
All right, I guess just go to ending screen, but that means everybody has to be quiet, because the only way to play it is.
Hang on, do I need to go get my mouth radio and join in? I
You're
have
gonna-
a full ass harmonica.
This music stands on its own. It is by far the most
This is the
soothing
The
difference.
most
sound.
patriotic thing I've ever seen in my
Yes.
entire life.
So this is actually a different instrument this time.
Oh
but it
no!
was-
Oh,
Conversation. So I think this is going to be a little bit clearer. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good night from Gamers for Peace.
Good night.
Do we have music? Can you guys hear it? It's a Vuvuzela.
Yeah, Vuvuzela.
Somehow I knew that's what it was gonna be.